All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been starting to go over the Murach version of the tip calculator program. So I am now into where I'm adding the XML for the user interface. This is very interesting because what I showed you earlier in my version, I would take and drag things out here and set things, but you can also do it through the XML, which is what I'm showing you now. So the first thing we're going to put in here is our text view. And it's interesting, as soon as I put that in, you'll notice that immediately it came with the height and the width because those are both required. All right, so the width is going to be wrap content. So is the height. And in English, what wrap content means, as opposed to match parent that we saw earlier, is wrap content means take up just the amount of room that the control would normally take up by default. Okay. And we want the bill amount label. You're going to see exactly what this is when we get done with it. Now notice this says 20 SP. When we looked at the dimensions file, we used DP, which are density pixels. And density pixels mean that they're going to be a fixed amount. SP that we're using here means scalable pixels. So you're supposed to scale the size depending on the type of device that you're using. Oopsie. We want this to be bold. Pretty self-explanatory, I believe what that is. Now we're saying here line parent top equal true, which means this is going to be our top, or the component that's at the top of the screen. And this one is a line parent start, which means I want it to be basically to the left. Okay, and we're also told we want to change the padding. We want to add padding top of 10 dp. So that's all we have in here right now. All right, align. Why is it doing that? It says we really should, for completeness sake, put in line parent left, and I guess I left that out. So under top, the next one should have been left. So we'll put in left here. All right, that's got all of, so right now, all of our errors are gone. So let's do a file, save all. And let's go back and look at it in design mode. So that's what we put in so far. That's it. Looks like a lot of work for that. But again, we've got to put in a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different widgets. So that is 1/10 of what we want to put in. All right, so let's jump back. Maybe I'll do, let's see, we're at 4 minutes. I'll see how many of these I can do in about 20 minutes. And what I don't do, we'll do in the next go round. All right, so that's the text view. Next, we've got the edit text. Again, you can see that the height and width, as we mentioned from before. And again, these are both wrap content. Makes the IntelliSense that's in here, makes it a little bit nicer. Now we're putting number decimal in here, which means that the keyboard that we should only have numbers on it and the decimal point. Here we're saying m's equal 8. All right, that's, for lack of better words, we're not going to worry about that right now, but it's, an m is how high basically something has to be to put in the letter m. See something here. That should have had a plus sign. Thought it should have. Oh, that's the text. It looks like I left something out here from the previous one. I did not put in an ID here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I left out a line. All right, so we've got that. Making it the same size as the previous one. So we're telling we wanted to align this basically with the bill amount label. What is wrong there? Okay. And we also want it to the right of, to the end of. So I'm going to copy this twice and then make a couple changes. Okay. And we want one more. We want a left margin here. $16 DP. All right, so again, let's take a quick look at what we've done so far. First, let's do a file save all. And let's actually take a look at it in design mode. So we just added this with a 3460. All right, this is string bill amount. That'll have to change. Well, there's a mistake there, but this 3460 is correct. All right. So taking it from the top, we're saying the height and the width, both of these should wrap the entire content. So take up as much room as they can. This should be an @ sign, which is why I think I'm getting an error. I had the wrong stuff before. This is saying fill this in, go to the string file, and fill it in with our bill amount label. All right. This will be the ID for it, so that's what it'll be known as in code. The size should be 20 SP, so 20 scalable pixels. It should be bold. It should be at the top of the screen, as far as you know, except for the dimensions we put in, to the left, and it should be the start or the first thing we have in there. And we're also adding a little bit of padding. So again, once we did that and put in a file, do a file save all, and we go back to design mode, there's our bill amount. So that's this. Next we've got this. All right, and that's under our edit text. Again, we're telling it to take up just the default amount of room for the control. That's what wrap content means. We should our keyboard should be a numeric decimal keyboard. The M's are 8. Again, this is the ID, so that's how it's referred to. We're going to fill it up. This bill underscore amount, well, that was in here. Bill underscore amount was this, so that's why it filled up with the 3460. Oops. It should be basically set up with the label that's to the left of it. It should align with that. It should be to the right of it, and it should be the last thing on the screen. And just like, well, we want some margin left, so we want to make sure there's some blank space in between. So what that margin left is doing is it's putting that little bit of space in between this control and this control. All right. Hopefully, I spent enough time going over that with you that it makes at least some sense. All right, we're at 12 minutes. I'm going to keep going, I guess. So I'm going to come in here, and next we've got a text view. Again, we want this to be wrap content, and this also. This will be our tip percent label, because that's the name of it. I'm sorry, it's text that should be in there. The name of it is the ID, which is next. Percent label, that should be percent label, not percent text view. Okay. Oops. I'm taping this in my apartment, so if you hear weird sounds, it's the person who lives above me, unfortunately. that's it. It looks like I made a mistake here, so we'll figure out what it is. Android layout, align bottom. Percent down button. It says that that button is not defined. Well, we are going to define it, but it's down below, unfortunately. So that's why we're getting that error right now. Okay, and I think that's why it looks funky like this too, because we've got the error. So let's just hold off on worrying about any kind of errors for right now. Okay, and next we want to put in another text view. I'm going to copy the one that we have. It's going to look really bad for a second, but that's okay. Text view. Why didn't it copy? Text view, okay. All right. Layout width wrap contents. This is just tip percent. This is percent text view. This is ID. Wrap content, tip underscore percent text view. All right, we don't need the text size is 20 SP. We don't need this to be bold. Again, I'm using same code that's on page 50 of the book. We've got to do an align left and an align start and an align top. The top will be the percent label. The align left will be with we want it to align up with the bill amount edit text that we did up here. And for the align start, which is next, we also want that to go here. All right, and we're getting that because they should have the @ plus ID slash, and so should this. Don't want to edit text, true, just edit text. Okay, so let's do another file. Save all and go to design. It looks funky. It'll hopefully get fixed in just a couple minutes. And what I will do, I'm at 1820, so I think I'm going to stop right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and double check all the code. This is XML code, but I'm going to check all the code that I put in here thus far to make sure I don't have any mistakes. In fact, I'll do it and we'll just keep taping. Let's just even take it from the top here. Good. the order in which you put these things also does not matter. You know, in other words, this one that we've got first could be at the bottom here. It really and truly does not matter. That looks good. This next one here. Again, we're getting that error because we don't have the down button created yet. We will in just a minute. Left is true. Start is true. That looks good. And let's look at this one, and then we'll call this, end this particular one here. We've got 6 more to go after this. In the book, they have this one here at the bottom, but I don't think it, again, it doesn't matter, so. I believe everything is correct. So I'm going to stop right now, and when I start up again, I will be going over the 2 buttons. And then we've got 4 more text views.